Twitter's annual shareholder meeting just wrapping up. Joining us now for our Stock of the Hour, and of course the latest out of that meeting, our very own Ed Ludlow joining us from San Francisco. Ed, your key takeaways.
Yeah, the first being that Egan Durbin, who's a partner at Silver Lake, did not get enough votes to be re-elected to the board. That's important because you'll remember we found out recently through filings that Mr. Durbin was one of the key characters in Musk's early considerations of building up a stake and buying the company. You'll also remember that Mr. Durbin and Silver Lake played a pretty key role in Musk's attempt to take Tesla private in 2018. So he's not around on the board now. He didn't get the votes. We did get a mention of Musk's bid, although it wasn't on the official agenda. Arjuna Capital, through Natasha Lamb, had wedged a proposal to have somebody added to the board that had a greater level of expertise in human and civil rights. I'm paraphrasing, but her argument was that if Twitter had had a good track record on human and civil rights, they'd have a good track record on freedom of expression. And if that were the case, then they wouldn't be subject to one of the biggest take-private deals of all time. She was unimpressed with the idea that Musk buying Twitter was a protection of freedom of speech. And I'm paraphrasing again, but she ended and concluded her remarks by saying minting or crowning another media mogul is not the right answer to improve the problems which at this point are well stated on the platform.
Let's just move across town very briefly, Ed, because we've just had the Meta Investor Day conclude as well. And a greatly read story today is how they're pivoting really to Reels and might change it up, basically copying TikTok to a large extent. But where do they see Reels going? And indeed, a loss of a key member of the board there as well.
Yeah, I think, the main takeaways across town or 50 miles down in Palo Alto area is that Reels is going to be really important, right? This battleground for video has been such a key story. And now when we see the sell-off in social media stocks linked to concerns around the macro picture and advertising, video becomes more of a micro focus. Of course, the other big news is Peter Thiel stepping down from the board. That had been announced in February, but part of the process of these AGMs is rubber stamping things that we knew, and Peter Thiel now out of the picture at Meta, and he'd been such a confidant and advisor to Mark Zuckerberg. That's an interesting point. And finally, Carrot reminds me that as of today, Jack Dorsey officially is also off the board at Twitter, and it's the first time in the company's history where a founder is either not an executive or on the management team or on the board. So times are changing.